Hey, what's up, everybody? But this is not Studio A at the beautiful School of Communication and Media. This doesn't look familiar at all. I'm George Jim Goach and joined alongside Julia Ryan
Hello,
and
everyone.
I'm Amanda Marino.
Amanda Marino, but this isn't the Studio A that we all know and love. This is Casa del Gem Goshen? Who knows? I have no idea. This is a first for me as well as a lot of other hosts for the Morning Buzz. We are quarantined for the moment, and Julia, I just saw your Yellow Submarine poster. I like that very much.
Yep, all the way in the corner. Glad you
Um,
noticed it.
but yeah, and we are away from the studio, unfortunately, because of the coronavirus pandemic. But we're still doing the Morning Buzz because we love you people, and we just can't live without you. Um, but yeah, so this is different, a little bit of a different setup, but we still have a great show planned for you. So Julia, I just wanted to talk about what did you um, do during your spring break? Because this is like the first show since spring break, technically, right?
Spring break, I basically just worked, and
Mm.
that was pretty much it. So it
Oh,
wasn't anything great. Still currently working, which is good. But other than that, I started crocheting a blanket,
hey.
and I started watching Teen Wolf again. So there we go.
Wow, that's great. Yeah. I don't know. I think for me, well, I went down to Florida. Hate to brag, but played some
Mhm.
golf. Saw a spring training game, and I also went to the Hard Rock Cafe in Hollywood, Florida, the big
Oh,
new
nice.
guitar hotel. Which is really really cool. I'm a classic rock freak. As you know, if you listen into the Buzz before, you know that I love the Beatles and all that stuff. So going to the Hard Rock Cafe and seeing all of that memorabilia, Zeppelin, Michael Jackson, all that stuff. It's just
Mhm.
really, really cool. But I came home and then we had the second spring break or the second week of spring break, and that was just it was a little bit weird because there was nothing really to do. You go take a walk outside or
Mhm.
around your block, and then you come home and I don't know, play video games or watch online streaming, the service. But I mean, what was there to do? And I'm hoping that in time of quarantine, in this time of a global pandemic, we'll find a way, and
Mhm.
because we're always able to.
Yep. I feel like as long as everyone takes it seriously, then it'll be okay.
Yeah. All right. So we do have a great show for you planned, and one of the articles that we would like to share with you is, of course, about the Corona-19. As you see on the screen right there, thanks to Zoom, that in the United States of America, 177,329 active cases. Sadly, there have been 4,059 cases of deceased and 7,251 recovered cases. So there is a lot going on, but it's a little bit hard to comprehend, really. As going around the world, like this is something that is affecting everyone, and especially in Italy and places like Iran and Spain, who
Yep.
it's hard to believe because I don't think I've as Iran, like 15,000 people recovered from this in Iran, which is just it's incredible. And just thinking about what this pandemic has done, I don't think you've ever experienced something like this, where
No. Nope.
we're at home and we're just trying to play it safe. But I think the best thing to do is to stay at home. So
It really is. It's the only thing that's really that really will make a difference at this point. And I hope people are taking it seriously.
hmm yeah, and as we do see, and on the New York Times, coronavirus live updates, the United Nations warns of global instability and conflict. So about this, when the UN has to kick in and then really show their part, you can tell there's a lot of stuff that goes on. during this time, and with the UN, they're facing also a global crisis themselves. So them trying to reach out and find a way through this um, this problem, you just got to listen to the professionals. You have to ask the experts. So
Yeah, it's terrifying because scientific advisors released models predicting that the US death toll would be between 100,000 and 240,000. And that's
mhm.
terrifying. And it really is scary, but it's like a realization that everyone has to like think of that, staying home and being like doing social distancing, this is something that could really help slow that down and stop it and flatten the curve.
Right. And social distancing, we place a huge emphasis on, um, because that, and seeing all of these graphs of like, what would social distancing do for us, and then seeing how all the cases would just be a little bit like pushed aside,
Hmm.
and pretty much with that, like the Americans, as I said, they're bracing, and we're still bracing for something that we're still. I don't think we reached the apex of what's actually happening right now, and it's just it's really hard to believe. So
Yeah, I agree. Like, I don't even know how to like comprehend any of this. It's really hard to like wake up every morning and there's so many new cases and you don't really know what's going to happen or when this is all going to like slow down.
So this
yeah,
map that we're getting shared with, that we're sharing now on the screen, is actually a map that Annabella showed me and Ryan, the host of the Monday Morning Buzz, showed us the other day, because this is actually like, it shows you with the lockdown, like if we all are like doing the social distancing and we all do stay home, it's that purple line at the bottom. And that
Mhm.
would be what we are. The hospital beds are that like little dashed line. That's how many hospital beds we have. And it's just showing you all the expected, like if we do limited action, it's going to be the red. And if we do a 3-month shelter in place with like strict compliance, it's that green line, that like green teal. And so it's still not good if people are still trying to go out more and doing like, I'm trying to think, like people are just still going out. I know, George, you said you were in Florida, and I'm sure there was a lot of people that were still out doing things like nothing was happening. And that we're going to be at that red point if we
I
don't
think it's
continue to
happening. Yeah.
follow like doing what we're doing. I mean, luckily most of us students now are doing classes at home, so we really can't go anywhere but stay in
yeah,
our houses. And with everything keep closing, with everything that keeps closing, like we just gotta hope that people just listen to that more and just are only going outside to get fresh air if they need groceries.
Mhm.
mhm.
Yeah, because
And
look at this scale too. All the green states are ones that are doing something and have something in place, and then some of the other ones are ones that literally have limited action. Oh, we're pulling up the Florida one for you now, George.
oh yeah, oh
Oh,
boy, I think I got out on the right time. Yeah, so
Yeah, you did. Was it now, out of a curiosity, because we were talking about Florida, what was it like being there during all of this happening? Like,
right. I mean, I think during the middle of the week, that's when everything started to kick in. The sports leagues were being canceled. Like I was eating dinner, and then I saw on the TV that the NBA was canceled, and they played their last game, and the MLB was canceled. And I went down to Florida to also see some spring training games, and we were able to see one game, thankfully, but unfortunately, the rest of the spring training was canceled, and we weren't able to follow our promise. But um, it just I feel like with Florida, I saw it was like night and day. Like I saw people going out at the beach, having a good time, and then it was just it seemed very quiet too. Right, um, right at the end of the week, and I also saw differences in the airport too. Like when I was there, well, when I was flying from New Jersey to Florida, a lot of people, it was a little crowded. But then when I hit Florida, it was just on the day of flying back, like people were wearing masks, and it was a little bit emptier than I thought. But really, it was just night and day for um, for this week, which I had a lot of fun, but it felt so weird. So
yeah, I bet.
Yeah. So governors now, one of them being Phil Murphy and Andrew Cuomo, fighting back against coronavirus chaos. It's like being on eBay with 50 other states. Um, and look, it's not easy, of course, when you are the governor and running the state and given this responsibility to handle your, you know, to give this terrible torch to run with. And you know, it's really hard for Governor Cuomo, Governor Murphy, but there have been plenty of governors that have made good use of this. And um it does feel weird, because if you're a governor, like, you're given that responsibility, and I don't think anyone as a governor would want to be given that responsibility. But the fact that Cuomo, a Democrat who is saying that you now literally would have a company call you up and say, well, California just outbid you, and this is for all the stuff that they want for their pandemic.
No, I know it's been a struggle for a lot of like states to get like these things that they need. I just saw a Twitter post actually this morning before I came on for the buzz, that said like one of these doctors, I think she was in New York, she posted on Twitter, she's like, is this really the best we could do? And it was just a New York Yankees poncho that was sent to her to wear over her scrubs and stuff. And I was like, wow, like, I mean, sure, it's nice that like it's nice that like some of these teams are like, and other organizations and companies are doing their part in like giving what they can, but like when you think about it, a New York Yankees poncho, like to support that, like you should be getting stuff from the federal government, and these states shouldn't be fighting as hard as they have to. It should be something that's like given to them,
Yeah. And the fact that, look, the federal government, like, they're the fact that they haven't really, I mean, they always have to really give your case, and also have to help out when it's really needed. And when this is needed, like, this is something that is just like beyond everyone's wildest belief. So
yeah, this whole thing is like terrifying, and especially if the people on like the front lines, like the nurses and stuff. I know one of my best friends from high school, she is a nurse, and thankfully she's not working in the hospitals right now. She's a stay-at-home nurse with a little boy. But her friends who are in the hospitals, they have to reuse the same mask for like a week at a time.
I heard that as well. I know we hear it in the news, but then when you hear someone like in your Facebook feed or your Twitter feed, like posting about it, you're like, oh, this is scary now, because this is happening more local, not like across the country, not in a different country. Like it's scary. I saw a Facebook post of a friend of mine that was like, I left the nursing field and they asked her to come back because of how bad it was. So she came back, and she's like, I can't even tell you how scary that we're using the same mask for person to person, and like you shouldn't be doing that because there's other people in the hospital there for other reasons besides that. I know there was a whole thing about like pregnant women for a while weren't allowed another person to be there, and to think they're not allowed another person, and now they're having someone with a mask cover them. It's like, cover them with, you don't know where they've been, and it also brings up the point of, we're talking about people we might know. I'm pretty sure it was Rutgers, and I think a few other schools that actually they let their medical students actually graduate early so they could go out and work in the force. And I know personally, if I was a student, I'd be kind of scared, because I didn't want to be like thrown in there like immediately. Like I wanted more, I think I'd want more experience out in the field doing like more normal work at first, and not like normal I'm going to be thrown into this epidemic and I have to try my best, and I don't know what's going to happen. That would scare me. I don't know about you.
Oh my gosh, totally. Like, I mean, if you're just a nursing student and you're thrown out into the field, like, and you're just a baby, like, that's scary.
I know there's always that post that goes around July 4th that says, don't do anything stupid right now, because this is all the new nurses like out there, and that's like funny in a little bit, because you're like, oh, don't do something stupid with fireworks or something like that. But like when you really think about it, then you're like, wow, now new medical students are out like a month or two earlier than they were supposed to, and now they're handling an epidemic, and there's going to be mistakes and stuff too, and that's scary, So we just have to keep moving on and seeing what we could do about this, but we have to just do our part, and that's staying inside and staying positive for sure.
Right.
Definitely
And
the main point.
and the fact that these nurses that are just still in nursing school, and also as someone, you mentioned Rutgers, my sister is in med school right now at Robert Wood
Oh,
Johnson, and I don't know what her story is right now, but the fact that that a student who's still learning, that you're given your scrubs and you're given your mask and you said, oh, do your thing. Like that's a heavy burden, and that's just scary. And it seems like medical students, they are also graduating to help the fight against the virus. It's something that we were never prepared for it, but it's beyond our wildest imagination.
I will
Yeah.
say a positive of seeing like some of how the hospitals are full and stuff, but the doctors and stuff that are still on the line, I'm seeing they're still, like, for the most part, being able to try to still have fun at their job. I don't know if you guys have any, like, these, again, I'm talking like Twitter, Facebook posts again. There is these, I've been seeing like little posts of them, like, on their breaks or whatever, like dancing and trying to make people a little feel better. Like, and I know, like, sometimes you're like, oh, just do your job as a medical professional, but it's like, you also need to know that these people have personalities and are fun and are like, they're trying to make the best of the situation. And that's what we all need a little bit right now, just a little more of a positive note.
Mhm.
I've been like, we've been seeing like those cases of, nursing homes being shut down too. And like visitors can't come there, like people getting to FaceTime with their families and things like that. It's like, we have to take light of the situation, even though it is a negative one. We have to look at the bright side. These nurses and doctors are doing the best they can, but they're still trying to have a little fun and still make you not feel and be as worried and anxious as you should be.
Yeah, because doctors, I mean, they're people too, and I mean, I come from a family of doctors, and I've known plenty of doctors that they have lives outside of the hospital where piano players and
Oh yeah.
just like they're very interesting Renaissance men and women that are able that have so many interests.
Mhm.
And that's what I think people don't really take for granted,
Yeah. Yep. And not only is it just like the people on the front lines that are being affected by this whole thing, it's also like basically everyone in the workforce. Like
Mhm.
millions of Americans have already lost their jobs due to the virus. So it's like terrifying because right now, so many people are out of their jobs, and a lot of people are like looking for part-time jobs anywhere.
Right.
So yeah, we're looking at this new page that's come up. It says unemployment rate may hit 32%. Like, that's scary. That is really scary to think you were in a good place. And I saw another article this week that said the class of 2020 was going to have it really good going into this amazing job market
Mhm.
because there was all these opportunities. And now that just kind of got ripped away from them and ripped away from people that were already in their fields and they
Yeah.
thought they had job protection. It's terrifying. Like, right now, I'm still lucky to have a job. I know, Julia, you still have a job. And I don't know about your guys' families. Obviously, George, you said your family works in the medical field, so I'm pretty sure they all have jobs right now.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, my mom works in a school, so she still has a job. So we're very thankful for that. But if you were in these other fields that you may not know, I've been seeing all these companies releasing like 90% of their employers and things like that. And because none of these companies are making money. Even when we've had other issues in the past, things were still kind of going on. I know people relate this situation a lot to like 9/11 and stuff and said like things got shut down. And it's like, yeah, but it was like maybe certain things got shut down, like sports got shut down for like a week or two, but they were resumed after that. Like, we're talking like we've already been in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks of this, like, and it's supposed to go on for a little longer. Where are we going to go from there? Like, it's scary to see what that future is going to lead. Like, you're already seeing people get released from their jobs, but are they going to be able to hold on for another like I'm going to say a month, because that's when April 30th is supposed to be when we're going to be reconsidered for getting out of this national quarantine. So can these companies go another month? I don't know if you guys saw the other day, Disney, their CEOs had to take a pay cut because of all that, because they didn't want to release their employees yet, because that would look really bad if they released their employees and they're still making a ton of money. So because they have no money coming in, so they have to do something. So in a month, are they going to be able to keep all their employees still? It's just going to be a lot of questions about what the future is going to lead for a lot of these companies.
Right.
Yeah,
And also just,
scary.
and just utilizing the kind of technology like Zoom. Like my mom's a teacher and she teaches at home. And so she's using Zoom every day for online classes, and like it's nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing that with so many different kinds of professions, whether it's a teacher or anyone else that where you have to connect online, like it's huge, and it's
Mhm.
something that you never would have really thought would happen.
Yeah. And to make that point about the Zoom stuff, like let's segue to our first topic of the day, if you guys don't mind, talking
Yeah,
about
sure.
the whole like all these colleges in New Jersey being reimbursed for their tuition and their parking passes and dining, all those kinds of options. Obviously, we all attend Montclair State, so
Yeah.
we have been affected by this. What are your guys' thoughts on it? What do you guys take of this?
Personally, I think it was good that they reimburse people for like parking passes and dorming, because a lot of people are going home due to this whole thing. I'm not sure about the tuition part of it. I don't really think that is necessary, in my opinion. I know a lot of people are afraid because, a lot of people are out of work, so they do need the extra money, and the tuition refund could really help. But it's also like the school is going to struggle from that as well. So it's like a double-edged sword. It's like, it's
Yeah,
hard.
because as a student, like you wanted to get rid of the swipes and the meal plan that you didn't really get to use, and
Hmm.
same thing with dorming, because living on campus, like move out day was incredibly stressful. Like it was so instantaneous, and the fact that I moving out on a day where I didn't really think I had time to really take everything out, it's just it's not it doesn't really give you, I don't want to say hope, but also it doesn't give you any kind of clearance for any other situation.
I agree. The by the way, this, if anybody is curious that's watching, this article was shared from njspotlight.com. So if anybody wants to read more about it, that maybe doesn't have a student that attends and Montclair, but attends another school or something like that, if you want more of their feedback on that. But yeah, I agree with you, Julia, about the whole thing about the tuition wise. Like I know classes are online. We didn't pay for online classes. We're obviously in class for a reason. Um, you're still technically gonna get a grade
Yeah.
for those classes. It could still affect your GPA if you want it to.
Hmm.
It kind of seems ridiculous to get people reimbursed for tuition because you are still learning. But as a person that does have a meal plan and has a parking pass
Hmm.
and has a dorm, like I did want to get reimbursed for that, and I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
The fact that people are trying to get reimbursed for tuition kind of doesn't make sense to me, because we are still like learning. I get it though. Like I know we're not in class, so people that are biology majors, they're not in labs, acting majors are not in classes, and it's hard. But it's not something that we want. Like the school is like, let's just go online. No one said that. Like everybody across the country is going through this. I think I finally saw a report that Liberty University, that university that was like the only one that was still open currently, finally like shut down.
Right.
Good. But yeah, we didn't ask for this, and I think we just got to kind of go with the flow. And I think Montclair's actually been pretty generous about giving refunds. They've talked about like if you want credit, you could take a free class in the summer or the winter. And like if you don't like actually take your money back, but you keep it as a credit for next semester. But I also feel like they've been pretty like giving us the most information they possibly could at all times. I know like the move out thing was like really quick, but then they immediately extended it and said you have another week to get all your stuff out if you can't make it right away. And I think that was really important to make that clear. And if you did really need to stay on campus, you could. So I think that's a really good thing that they offered for everybody. I don't know what else you guys have thoughts on that and everything.
Yeah. Also, the pass fail option, which I think was
Yes.
very vital, and it's very important because there's people that probably might not have the chance to get a good letter grade. So the
Mhm.
pass fail option is very good, and it's on their part. I like it, and a lot of students will use it to their advantage.
I did want to note too, before I talk about, because I know a lot of other schools have, there has been another petition going around about universal pass, but I did want to mention, I'm actually friends with an adjunct professor at Montclair. And I'm a theater major for you guys, because I don't think you guys knew that. But I did like a show locally in the fall, and so we're good friends. She teaches professional speaking at Montclair. And she texted me yesterday and she's like, hey, good news from Montclair. We got that pass fail option. And I'm like, you're just hearing about this? She's like, yeah, I just got a message about it. And I'm like, I got a message about it last week, and one of my other teachers got an email and told us before we even got that email. She's like, yeah, I just found out about it today. And I'm like, did you hear about the refunds too? And she's like, no, yeah, you're the first that I'm hearing of that. So I thought that was an interesting move too, that like they didn't know about that. And I don't know, maybe something did get lost in translation somewhere. Maybe her email wasn't attached, but I thought that was an interesting thing going on too, that she didn't get it. Like maybe it's because she's an adjunct and she got it a little later, but I don't know. I thought that was interesting. She had knew nothing of that yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was interesting. So the other thing though, but going back to that universal pass thing, like, so we have a pass fail option at Montclair, but there is a petition going around that is like a universal pass one. So I think that's kind of stupid, but I don't know if you guys think it's like a great idea or anything. I don't want to diss your opinion on it at all.
Yeah, well, we also are getting word from our executive producer who's sharing with us that her change to this grade policy was posted on her syllabus, and also an email went out to all the students, and the rubric was also changed too. So, not only affecting the students, but also the professors as well. So.
Yeah. Also wanted to note though, our executive producer, the amazing Annabella Poland, is listening in on us, and she wanted to share that she does teach a class too, and that she changed her grading policy, and she let her class know in an email, and she also she put it in her rubric and let everybody know. And I think that's important too. I know a lot of my other professors were changing the way that the class was structured a little bit, and also like took a lot less stress if you had a lot more assignments. A lot of them took some of the assignments away and said like, hey, like we know this is a difficult time, but like do your best, and like if you feel like you still need to do a pass fail, like good for you, and you could do that too. Like, and we're not gonna like hate on you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do you guys have any other experiences or with this? Like how have you been reacting with this whole like with Montclair sending all these emails and stuff? Like how have you been reacting and feeling about it?
Well, with the emails, I feel like it does give me some clearance, and it does give me some, hey, they're doing something, and I'm glad I'm hearing from them. I'm just trying to take everything in and just hope for the best, at this point, with online classes and, finals, and I'm just hoping for the best. My main goal is to be optimistic and just trying to have a good outlook. So.
Yeah, the whole change is, drastic. No one was expecting the end of the semester to be like this. Like, this is my last semester of college.
Oh my goodness, like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so it's pretty rough because everything's changed. It's not like of course we get to do the morning buzz on here and that's great, but like it's a lot different than in the studio. We're not going to be able to have the meetings unless it's on Zoom. It's hard not to have that human interaction, especially since it's going to be like the last semester for me to have it. And like even going to class, graduation's postponed, everything. It's terrifying. And when it comes to classes, like it is cool how we do have platforms like this. Like I know most of my classes we have done on Zoom, so it is really it's effective, and it's nice to be able to have that human interaction. But other classes, they're just like, yeah, you could take notes and then there's a test online.
Yeah.
But
Do you feel like
it's
do
hard.
you feel like you got like gypped out of your senior year a little bit? Do you feel like it was weird because you didn't know it was gonna happen before spring break? You didn't get to like kind of embrace some of those last moments on campus, or like
Yeah, a little bit. Like it's nice being able to my schedule is usually like really packed. I work part-time, ShopRite. I also have an internship at Z100, which was actually affected by this whole thing,
oh, what
which is
how did that go? Like, did you stay with your internship still over spring break? Like, give us the details of like how like you like when did you find out all the information about like did you still keep going while this was still a big problem, or did you I don't know, do you still go? I don't tell us all about that.
so basically we kept going when we were on spring break, like that was my last week there. No one knew. So we were all still going in. I decided from that point on, like my last 2 weeks that I was going to stop taking public transit and I started driving into the city by myself because usually I would take the train because it
Gotcha.
was a lot cheaper. So then I started driving in and I would just park in like a parking garage and, like limit my social interaction. And there's not a lot of people who actually like work for like specifically just for like the Z100 unit. So, or at least like where I am, there's probably a lot of people in HR and stuff like that, but they're on a different floor. So I don't really come into contact with more than like 15 people in a day.
Mm-hmm.
But then after spring break, they sent us all an email saying that all non-essential personnel would be working from home, which was like, okay, that's cool, but I can't really do my job from home. I do the audio for the show. So I do the audio for Elvis Duran and Ryan Seacrest, and I help do the promos. So it's not like I can do all that from home because I need direct access to NextGen and their server. And that's just like not something possible. And then after maybe 2 weeks of that, I actually got a phone call Monday from Mark Medina, who is the executive producer, who said that we will be on a 90-day non-paid leave. So I don't know when that leave is over if I'm going to have my internship anymore, which is scary because it's kind of like my dream internship and I was so excited to be there. So it's sad because like I was so excited. I was like, wow, this is going to be a great final semester of college. I had my dream internship. Maybe I'll be able to get like a job thereafter. And it was all cut short. I can't even walk at graduation now.
Oh,
So it's rough.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the graduation situation, like there was that thing about there was a huge uproar about not getting graduation. Like it was postponed, and there was rumors that it's not going to happen. It was just canceled, flat out canceled, and then there was a huge uproar from the student body. But they delayed the ceremony, so it's going to take a while. Which
Yeah. It's hard because they don't know when the ceremony is going to be. And I do believe that I know that they're going to definitely push for it. But it's like at that point in time when it's finally coming up, will all of us be available to do it? You know what I mean? Like I was like so excited to be like, oh, I'm going to get my diploma in front of my family and stuff. But it's really
oh
sad.
man,
And now I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know if I should like keep applying for jobs because the job market's kind of gone at the moment. It's really hard.
right.
Sorry, I just like drained everyone's mood.
No, it's all good. No, it's all good. I totally understand where you're coming from because, and not only college students but also high school students too.
Yeah.
Like them,
A lot
this
of
is going to
proms
be
are
their
canceled
years.
too.
The You see, if I was a high school student, my prom was canceled. Like that would just take everything out of it because that's something that I look forward to. You know.
Now obviously it's postponed for like a good reason. I'm glad that Montclair made the choice that like I know a lot of other people were like Zoom college graduation ceremony and things like that and online, but you have to realize I know my boyfriend's a senior as well at Montclair, so I know he's been struggling, him and a lot of his friends, because you've worked so hard for this moment, like and then it's just like ripped away from you a little bit. And obviously it's still gonna happen, but I think we have to obviously realize that this was for the best for everybody, the safety of everybody. I even think that even if you guys just did maybe like your little college graduations instead of just maybe the big Prudential Center one, because that's like a crazy amount of people in one space. So maybe like a smaller thing, because obviously we're not going to know when this ends, but we also don't know like what the future holds after this is over. So like even when this is gone, are we still going to be social distancing from people? Are we still going to want to go to like these big gatherings? This obviously caused a lot of chaos in a lot of our lives. And
Yeah.
I don't know, right now we just got to do what's safe. And obviously there's people that are losing their lives each day, and all we need to do is just stay home. And obviously this was put on for a good reason, that we pushed everything off and canceled everything.
I'm definitely glad that they did postpone it, because it's better to be safe than sorry, honestly.
Yeah,
And like it's not the best situation, but honestly, there's a lot of people in worse situations right now.
Of course.
So it's like, I'm still lucky in a way to be able to even attend class like this and talk to you guys in the morning. So
now, talking about like luck and everything, I mentioned earlier that me and Julia still have a job right now, which is really nice. And so we have a lot of experience with kind of being firsthand in this chaos of like the madness of people like stress and like panic shopping and things like that. And there's also a big story going around that is, should you be like washing down your groceries when you come home, like from the store? And I know, Julia, you know, like you've probably seen people do some weird things at the store. George, I don't know if you've been to the store yet.
Oh yes, yes I have.
Crazy it is. But I don't know. I know personally there's always a huge line for me, and I am not switching my gloves, I'm going to be honest, after every person, because no one has time for that.
Also, there's not enough.
There's also not enough. So I know personally I'm using some of my gloves maybe for the same people, 10 to 15 different customers, you know what I mean? And that's anything that anybody held is now on that. So I don't know, like, Julia, what's your experience with that? And also, if anybody's interested in this article that we're now showing about, do we disinfect our groceries, sciencealert.com.
Well, yeah, it's hard because, you know, we are given the option to wear gloves. Obviously, they're not going to make us, but like, I personally feel safer wearing them.
Yeah.
They just say, you know, disinfect every couple of, like every time you can, basically. I've been wearing gloves for the past like 2 weeks just because I would rather be safe than sorry. And the thing is, we are running out of them so easily. Like, we don't have sizes anymore. I was wearing yesterday, I have like pretty small hands, not like small. So like my hands don't really fit that well into a size small, but we had no medium. So I had to wear a small for
I wore
like
some of the smalls.
a 6-hour shift. And like, I couldn't even move my fingers, but that's all we had.
Now, do you think, obviously, like, so I work at Whole Foods, so if anybody was like curious, like where I work or anything, but the same kind of procedure goes there. But do you guys feel like you should be like disinfecting your groceries? Like, what are your thoughts about that?
I mean, personally, that's what I do. You know, I remember seeing a video of a doctor actually, you know, giving you a whole analysis on how to do it, where you have one side of the table, and you know, we had to put your groceries on one side of the table, which is clean, and then another side of the table, which is dirty, and you know, just taking things out one by one onto plates and by itself, and disinfecting them. You know, that's just what I do. So
you've actually been doing that?
Yeah, when we go and get groceries, it's what we do now. That's the protocol, because you know, you just got to play it safe, and I don't think we really want to take any risks. But you know, whenever we, you know, get our groceries, whether it's eggs or milk, we have to play it safe. So
I did want to mention on Monday when I was talking to Annabella, she did mention this special trick if you are like using gloves when you're at the grocery store or anything. There is a proper way apparently to take off your gloves, and I don't know if you've heard this, but you have to kind of like step back a little bit and then do it, because it could potentially splash like anything that was on you. So if there was like, I don't know, some coughed and then like, or like sneezed, and like that is on you now. Like, so there is a proper way apparently. I didn't know about that. Annabelle gave me a good laugh when it came to that. I was like, there's a proper way. There's apparently a proper way for like everything.
Jumping in to say that, yes, you put your hands away, and people who are in emergency rooms actually wear 3 pair of gloves. and they just kind of shed them as they go. But yeah, it has to be away, and you cannot touch your hand. Talking about cleaning your groceries, I mean, I think people are reacting to this virus in many different ways. Some people are eating their anxiety, right? Some people may be drinking their anxiety. The way I reacted was I became some sort of like, clean everything that comes in person. So decontamination area in the garage. And I just thought how ridiculous I looked when I was using a Lysol wipe to clean a Lysol bottle that I had. I was like, you can take it to an extreme too. But good information on that article, because some people decided to leave their groceries in the garage for like 3 days. As the weather gets warmer, it's no longer like a refrigerator kind of area.
Right.
Yeah.
And
No
problems, especially for deli meats and milk and that kind of
I
stuff.
know a lot of people were also saying like you should be leaving your shoes in like the garage or outside too, because it could live on your sole of your shoes for like 5 days. Like if you did step on something like that, like I don't know if someone
Definitely.
or something, and that's like where it's just like, where are we going to draw the line? I guess in some things that are we, because we're going to make ourselves crazy to think about like, did you ever think about like washing down your groceries like 2 months ago? No, you probably didn't.
I mean, washing the groceries, when you get your lettuce and your things that you're going to eat. Yes.
Oh, that, yes, of course.
That's different.
You should
there
be
is.
washing your fruits and vegetables all
You should, yeah. But
Yeah.
they recommend it with water, although there are some healthy sort of veggie detergent that you can use if you want to remove any pesticides and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But in terms of shoes, same thing. I was not really into that until I saw someone do one of those acts of like spitting on the ground, and I was like, oh no. Shoe goes in the garage and the sole gets Lysol, or like we put alcohol in it, because you don't want to bring that in. It's not like my feet are going to be anywhere near my face, but it's just more prevention, whatever makes you feel safer.
You think about it this way. I've been thinking about it this way with like the shoes and stuff. I know I took off my sneakers I wore to work and I like left them by the door because I'm not like going over there. But if you walk in on a carpet and you walk in on with your shoes on, then you sit down on that carpet and then you touch your hand on the ground and then you touch it on your face. Like it's just like these things that you don't really think about, and then all of a sudden you think about it because it's been put out there. And I know that there's been a whole thing about like with the groceries too. We stopped at Whole Foods using reusable bags because they say that reusable bags can carry a lot of like germs because people forget to wash them. So like there's germs and stuff that have been living on there. And I know I saw like a little video on Facebook of someone cleaning them and of how much like germs there, like how much dirt came off of them in the end after washing them for a little bit, which is crazy. But I mean, it's things that people didn't think of now. And now
we actually have a new policy on that now too. If people bring in bags, reusable bags, they have to bag them themselves.
Same.
And I've seen customers yell at the cashiers for it.
Oh yeah, they yelled. A woman in my store literally threw her bag at another employee and said, "You have to do it," and like got it and stuff.
Yeah, and it's hard because you're like, no, like there's something huge going on right now. You need to be able to do it now. Like you have to do it. And like people get attitude over it. Like people think like, oh, I'm here, I'm paying for my groceries, someone else can bag it. But if you're bringing something from your house and you want someone else to bag it for you, it's not only like risking the person who's bagging it safety, it's like the other person as well, because you don't know who has what, because people could not show any symptoms at all.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
Yeah.
And like it's scary, like the shelves at the store, I don't know about your store, but like Lysol, all cleaning products, gone, all paper towels, gone, no toilet paper, beans, for some reason, canned beans, nowhere to be seen.
It's mostly like the cleaning supplies, and like we did have toilet paper the other day, but everybody's allowed one single roll, so not like a pack, like one single roll.
Yeah.
And so like I know we've been doing like a lot of that kind of like limiting and stuff like that. I know it's more than just now the toilet paper and the milk and stuff. It's now like you're only allowed like 4 packages of pasta and 4 or it's like 8 cans. Like you're only allowed like 8 single cans. Like, and it's crazy. I had a customer that came in the other day, and I'm a multi-team member at my store, so I could kind of do a million different things, but I've been mostly doing the cashier stuff. had a customer that came in, spent over $1,000 on groceries. And I was like, wow, you do not need all of this. I promise you. And I was telling my family about it, and they're like, oh, did they like bring it home for like a giant family or something? Like, I'm like, I don't really know, because they spent like $100 on alcohol alone. So I think a lot of the hoarding has made people also panic and get a lot of alcohol and a lot of like desserts and stuff. I've been seeing a lot of ice cream go and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
same.
Oh yeah.
So like it's just been crazy with that.
And like, I don't know about you, but things have been really rough customer wise at the stores. Like at my store personally, and I know the surrounding shop rates near me, we have a huge problem of people, especially customers, throwing their gloves on the ground outside. So there are hundreds of plastic gloves all over. The Byram Police Department has actually started giving people fines for doing it at the ShopRite of Byram, which I think is great. And I hope that, you know, Roxbury Police Department does that as well at my store. But we've been having problems. You said you got the glass barriers too?
We have like a teeny tiny one. It was a shelf for the longest time. But like, yeah, the glove thing is really scary, because like I see people then take out their phone and then they also proceed to hand me cash. I'm like, you guys know cash is the dirtiest thing you could actually touch on a normal day. Like the amount of germs that are spreading on that, like, don't take out your phone and use your phone, and don't. I've seen people, even employees, kind of touch their face with their gloves on. I'm like, guys,
I know.
I'm like, literally, I like keep my hands away from me, and then when I need to touch my face or I need to like go on break or something, I literally like rip off my gloves, sanitize my hands, and then I go wash my hands again. Like I'm a freak when it comes to that.
Right.
I literally, when I get home too, I don't know about you, I like literally rip off my clothes and jump in the shower.
Yep.
I'm cleansing my whole body. But just so anybody knows and that is listening, I know personally my store, we are getting shipments on a normal basis. It's just like we're only amount to so much. I don't know about you, Julia. Yeah. I'm sorry, George. I feel like I'm leaving you out in this conversation. It's just these grocery workers know what we're going through.
Yeah, it's rough.
That we are getting like, I've been getting a lot of customers are like, are you getting shipment? Are you getting shipment? And I'm like, yes, we are. It's just we're only allowed so much to order at once. And you got to think about that there's a million Whole Foods and a million ShopRites around the country that are like going through this as well. And because it's not just our state, it's not just New York City too. We're doing the best we can.
One of the things is people are asking about Purell and hand sanitizer and stuff like that. We have not gotten that. I don't know about you, since February. Like nothing. We have like those little hand wipes, but other than that, we're basically out. And like people are being a little too extreme with it. Like personally, like I know if like someone asks and they're like, oh, do you have like hand sanitizer or do you have like Clorox wipes? I'm like, no. Like this one lady was like, oh, do you have Clorox wipes? I'm like, oh, whatever's on the shelf. She was like, you're hiding them, aren't you? I'm like, I'm not hiding them. Thank you.
I one person was like in my store, they're like, oh, do you have hand sanitizer? I'm like, no. And they're like, I'm like, we have soap though. And they're like, I don't want soap. I'm like,
oh my gosh. Yeah, it's frustrating. But yeah, I mean, as my experience has, I don't work as at a grocery store yet, but
where have you been typically shopping, and what is
either ShopRite or Shop and Stop, you know, the two usual ones, because I have, you know, there's a couple around my house, and you know, as a customer, and you know, going on food runs, you know, you got to stock up, but you also have to be mindful of the other customers and what you really want to get.
Has there been like crazy lines and stuff at your store that you've been shopping in, or?
I mean, at the ShopRite that I go to, there's only there's 20 aisles or cashiers, and cashiers 1 through 10 are meant for just regular you know, checkouts, and then cashiers 11 through 20 are for the elderly and people that were infected. So
are they doing every other register, or are all of them open?
They're all open. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's just it's a lot, but you know, as a customer, and you know, just trying to deal with it every day, and also the workers too. Like you know, the fact that they're still working along with so many other people.
How often do you end up going?
I don't know, maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks, depends. You know, it depends on what we really need. So.
with like the grocery stores, I did see a happy note this morning too, that a lot of stores are actually going to close on Easter Sunday, which is a lot of stores usually stay open for that because it's just like a lot of people, like it's like a Catholic holiday for a lot of people. So a lot of people like will stay open. So they actually are going to close so their customers can get like a break. I know it was like Target. I know it was like Trader Joe's and things like that. So I thought that was really nice that like they're going to actually like, cause they like love their team members and they've been doing a great job. They're giving them a day off where everybody could just relax and things like that. But on that happy note, and to keep on a happy note, I know a lot of us have been like keeping like busy during this quarantine and stuff, but that doesn't stop other professionals from stopping during this quarantine on things. So if you guys anybody want to like chip in on this story, this is a cool story that one of our producers shared with us this morning about being a first of its kind blood test can detect over 50 kinds of cancer, often before symptoms are even shown, which is like a super cool thing, especially during this pandemic where we think the world is ending, everything is ending. Our scientists and our doctors are still working at other things cancer was like one of those ones that was like the leading cause of death, along with like some other diseases and such. But like this was great news to hear this morning that from the Good News Network, they were reporting on these researchers doing this. I don't know what you guys have thoughts on this. This is just like a little happy note thing.
Yeah, it's a revolutionary thing. I'm sorry, Julia. Sorry.
You're good.
But
You're good.
Yeah, it's revolutionary, and it's just something that, you know, I'm so glad as someone that, you know, wants to see this happen, and also for doctors and for people in the medical field too. Like it's a huge revolution, and it's a huge breakthrough. So I nothing but thankful for this to really break through.
Yeah, definitely. Julia, did you have something that you wanted to add on that one?
Yeah, it's interesting to see how like everyone's affected by, you know, right at the moment, coronavirus is like the main thing everyone's thinking about, but you also have to think about there are people that are still suffering from other diseases such as cancer. So this is really something that is paving the way to help, you know, prevent and, you know, start treatment on those types of things.
Yeah, because just because the coronavirus is going on right now, it doesn't mean everything else just stops. There's still people like going to the hospital for other reasons. There's still people, I know women that have been in like are still going through chemo, men too. Like that doesn't stop just because that's going on and they're at risk. And it's nice that not all the doctors and scientists have just stopped dealing with everything else. They're still focused on a lot of these other problems that we're facing. So.
Yeah. And we want to say thank you from all of us here from the Wednesday edition of the Morning Buzz. And don't forget to stay healthy, happy, safe, and smart. And we will see you next time. You know, but one more thing. I think if this is okay, that maybe next time that we should do like a room tour or something. Like you know.
I know, usually we're in a studio, so it's weird, but like we're in our bedrooms and stuff too. Like it could be like like a MTV, here's my crib, like here's my crib. Get a view of that nice outside sun that you can't go anywhere and do, but we could definitely make it a lot more fun and see our cribs. It looks like you got a lot of memorabilia on your walls, George, so that looks pretty cool. So
I also have a huge vinyl collection.
Ooh, we should do a little like compare vinyl. I got a lot of vinyl, so that would be like super. That would be super fun. But yeah, thanks for inviting me on your Wednesday show, guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for coming. Yeah.
Such a joy.
And we'll see you hopefully to all our viewers next week. And you can also hear us on iHeartRadio next week. So tune in, and we'll hope you guys have a great and healthy, happy week.
Thank you. You too. And to everyone that is listening, social distancing. Remember, stay home. It's new thing. And
but just before we have a little video to share.
Asking Americans to do a lot right now. So we're asking everyone to be selfless for others so that we can protect those who are most susceptible to this virus.
A question I often get asked is, why should young people care about the spread of coronavirus? Well, we know that people with underlying medical conditions over the age of 60 are at highest risk, but they've got to get it from somebody.
Social distancing is really physical separation of people.
It's what we refer to when we ask people to stay at least 6 feet apart.
Not going to bars, not going to restaurants, not going to theaters where there are a lot of people. It all just means physical separation so that you have a space between you and others who might actually be infected or infect you.
We all have a role to play in preventing person-to-person spread of this disease, which can be deadly for vulnerable groups. For more information on how you can social distance, please go to coronavirus.gov.
And that's a message we could all take into our lives. Stay home and be healthy. And hope you all have a great week.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.